What happens when one of Hollywood's most respected actors walks onto a daytime talk show and everything goes completely sideways? What starts as a friendly conversation about his latest project turns into one of the most explosive moments in television history. George Clooney, known for keeping his cool in every situation, finds himself in a battle of words that nobody saw coming. This isn't your typical celebrity interview gone wrong. This is something entirely different. And by the end of it, security is involved. Cameras are cutting, and the audience is left absolutely stunned. Before we get into exactly what happened, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below, telling us what you think about celebrities speaking their minds on live television. The stage is set on a typical morning at The View. The audience buzzes with anticipation as George Clooney is announced, appearing to promote his new film centered on investigative journalism. The lights shine, the cameras roll, and the hosts settle into their familiar seats. Joy Behar flips through her notes with a knowing smirk, while Whoopi Goldberg beams with warmth as she introduces George to thunderous applause. Clooney walks out smiling, waving, every bit the seasoned professional. He takes his seat, adjusts his microphone, and for the first few minutes, everything goes exactly as expected. Whoopi leads with easy questions about the film, the cast, and the challenges of balancing acting and directing. George responds with charm and thoughtfulness, speaking passionately about journalism, accountability, and the responsibility that comes with influence. The audience nods along. The other hosts chime in, the conversation flowing naturally. It feels safe, polished, and predictable. But then Joy leans forward. Her tone shifts. She comments on George's public advocacy and questions whether his activism is selective. George pauses, still smiling, but something changes. He asks what she means. Joy presses harder, suggesting hypocrisy, questioning whether silence on certain issues undermines a film about truth. The studio quiets. George responds calmly, saying people choose their battles, and that doesn't make them dishonest. Joy counters that silence itself is a statement. The energy changes instantly. George pushes back, reminding Joy that everyone with a platform makes choices. Joy laughs, sharp and dismissive, accusing him of cherry-picking truths. Whoopi tries to redirect, but Joy talks over her, insisting the audience deserves answers. George's tone firms. He calls it an ambush. That word lands heavily. Joy bristles, defending the show and questioning whether George can handle real scrutiny. The audience senses it now. This isn't promotion anymore. This is confrontation. George leans forward, voice controlled but edged. He explains he came to discuss a film built by dozens of people, not to be publicly interrogated without warning. Joy dismisses that, claiming tough questions are part of the show. George fires back that assigning motives and twisting words isn't journalism. It's provocation. The hosts fall silent. The audience barely breathes. George stands, removing his microphone. Whoopi rises too, trying to calm the situation. Joy taunts him for walking away. George turns sharply and delivers a chilling response, listing war zones, dictators, real danger. The room erupts in stunned silence. Producers move closer. The cameras keep rolling. Joy challenges him to stay and prove himself. George refuses, calling the exchange performative. Then Joy crosses a line. She brings up his wife. The reaction is immediate and visceral. The audience gasps. George freezes, fury barely contained. He asks her to repeat herself. She doubles down, questioning how his wife might view his actions. Whoopi physically steps between them, calling the comment inappropriate. George demands boundaries. Joy insists everything is connected, that public figures don't get to separate their lives. George explodes, accusing her of speculating about his marriage for clicks. The tension becomes unbearable. Another host suggests a commercial break. No one listens. Joy accuses George of chasing viral moments. He fires back that the show has become obsessed with them instead. Accusations fly. Courage. Hypocrisy. Accountability. Joy openly calls him a fraud. The studio goes dead quiet. George's response is devastating. Calm. Surgical. He accuses Joy of mistaking cruelty for courage, of confusing accusations with impact. He speaks about doing the right thing without cameras, without applause. Joy claims she's taken risks. George acknowledges her pain, but refuses to accept her judgment. Whoopi demands a break again. George grabs his jacket and walks. Joy shouts after him, calling him a coward. He stops, turns. Calm returns to his face. He agrees to one final exchange. He explains why he stays silent. Sometimes. Complexity. Humility. Listening over performing. Joy scoffs. George calls her biased. She admits she prepared questions. He says she prepared an attack. Joy finally says it outright. She calls him a hypocrite. The word hangs in the air. George stares at her, then quietly dismantles the accusation. He speaks about courage without spectacle, about sacrifice without applause, about the danger of purity tests in a complicated world. Joy fires back, accusing him of hiding behind charm and image. George denies comparing himself to journalists, only honoring them. Joy pivots, making it about gender. George shuts that down instantly, calling her behavior hostile, not brave. He insists this has nothing to do with her being a woman and everything to do with professionalism. The audience murmurs. The divide is visible. Joy repeats the ambush accusation mockingly. George explains the difference between good faith questions and Puritan narratives. He points to her notes. She doesn't deny it. That silence speaks volumes. Joy presses one last time, demanding answers. George responds with clarity. He researches. He listens. He acts where his skills matter. He refuses to posture. He refuses to perform. Joy calls it convenient. George calls it humility. The word stings. Whoopi finally slams the brakes. She orders everyone to stop. Joy won't. She accuses him of lecturing at award shows. George dismantles that too. Then Joy lands her final blow, claiming he can't handle being challenged. George's voice drops. He tells her she's wrong, that she mistook confrontation for courage, that tearing people down isn't accountability. The audience doesn't know how to react. Whoopi calls for commercial again. George says one final thing. He doesn't care what Joy thinks. His family knows who he is. The people he's helped know. That's enough. He walks off. No one stops him. The camera's finally cut. By the time the show returns from break, the energy is shattered. Viewers flood social media. Clips go viral within minutes. Some praise George for standing his ground. Others side with Joy, calling it overdue accountability. The network releases a vague statement about passionate discussion. No apology. No clarification. George never returns to the show. Joy defends her actions the next day, insisting tough conversations matter. Whoopi later admits the line about George's wife shouldn't have happened. The moment becomes one of the most replayed confrontations in daytime television history, not because voices were raised, but because lines were crossed. And once crossed, there was no going back.